Okay, let's get this started.
Exciting.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're all pouring in from the waiting room, and we are delighted to have you here on this. It's a little gray on the East Coast, gray Thursday afternoon. Good day to do a little bit of learning, right? So, welcome, everyone. I am Donna Miller. I am founder and chief visionary officer at C3Worx, and I am joined today by Kelly. Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Louro, a senior account manager at C3Worx now for about over 15 years. And I lead our team of executive assistants, and we specialize in project management, connecting and optimizing your systems to ensure operations and customer support run like a well-oiled machine. Yay!
So, there. And Julie, introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Julie Renz. I am the senior sales manager here at Abby Connect, and I head up our sales team. We provide human and AI receptionist support for business owners like you.
Awesome. So, first of all, a little bit of background. Um, C3 Works for the last 31 years has been helping companies to accelerate their growth by providing business advisory and support services around operations, biz dev, and finance. It's kind of a unique business model because the truth is, every time we solve a problem for ourselves, we have something else to offer you. Woohoo! Tried and true. And to give you kind of the 50,000-foot view, the C3 stands for Connect, Collaborate, Community. It's really how we move through the world. We also are very mindful of staying in our lane. And our lane changes as time goes by. So there was a time where we did live telephone answering as part of our core offerings. Well, over time, it turned out that that no longer made sense with us. And so we did what we do. We looked for a partner who believes what we believe, who operates in the world the way we do. Lo and behold, Abby Connect. So when you call C3, you're actually getting Abby Connect. And we love working with people like Abby because, and you'll learn as we go through our conversation and the demos later, Abby does what I love. They integrate, they're constantly innovating. They're looking at how they can do things better. And your reception is your first impression. It's super important. So they're a class act, and it's been great to work with them and now to collaborate. So we welcome the C3 people, we welcome the Abby people, and basically what we're going to do here today is we're going to talk a little bit about AI, but we're kind of feeling like you probably all heard a lot of talk. So we're going to do some demos. We're going to allow time for Q&A. What I want you to know also is that we have a pretty good sized crowd today. So any questions that you have, we will allow time at the end. Feel free to drop them in the Q&A section of this Zoom meeting whenever you think of them. But I also want to encourage you, with the way we're running our businesses virtually these days, you are in a room, literally, with quite a few people who are interested in the same thing that you're interested in. So I want to encourage you to introduce yourself via the chat and possibly get to know some of the people that are here with you on this webinar. So we are recording. You don't have to take copious notes. You will get a link to this recording. You're going to use the chat to network. We're going to use the Q&A section for questions. And so with that, let's jump in. So we're all talking about AI, 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 AI. It's like, it's a little bit overwhelming. And we were talking about this as we were on our tech check, how you have these gloom and doom people who believe, AI is going to replace all our jobs. And Kelly, how did you say it? You said there was an integration. How did you refer to it?
Yeah, for me, I feel like AI it should never be, and is not right now a replacement for any kind of human innovation or human interaction. Rather, it needs to be a springboard. And the future is really going to be built on people who understand how to best use it and to
Yeah,
utilize it for themselves
yeah.
and for their clients.
Yeah, and Julie, we were talking about, this is as big as the internet. And
Mhm.
so we're all kind of starting to wrap our heads around it. And I also believe, just like the internet, frankly, this has as much capacity for good as it does for evil. And that's going to be, on us to take the high road and move that forward. So let's kind of, Julie, let me ask you, within Abby Connect, and I know, we're going to talk about an AI receptionist, but we're all running businesses. So talk to us a little bit about what's a process that you wish you could automate within Abby or you are automating within Abby? Talk to us about how Abby is looking at AI beyond just the receptionist piece of it.
Yeah, great question. So essentially, we're using AI in a bunch of different ways to make our business more smarter and more efficient, the way that we do that for clients. So that can go into operational efficiency, using AI to analyze workflow data and kind of identifying where we can automate processes like scheduling and reporting, so that the teams can focus on higher value work. It could be customer insights, so AI tools to help us better understand the customer's needs by analyzing the feedback, the call transcripts, and the trends in real time, so that we can proactively address the issues and personalize the service. It could be decision report. So we're using AI to, since it is built into our dashboards, to maybe surface the key trends and predict things like the call
Mm,
volume, staffing needs, or
mm,
even sales opportunities.
right.
And then, of course, employee enablement. So how can AI assist our teams? Things like summarizing calls, drafting follow-ups, offering real-time coaching tips, so we can deliver better experience with less effort.
That's great. And Kelly,
Mhm.
C3, we've always been process driven. We've always been, create SOPs. And of course that, you'll show us that later. That gets easier and
Mhm.
easier. But is there an area you wish we could automate that we are automating? So talk to us about how, from your role, what you're hoping AI will do for us.
I think we've integrated a lot with the AI processes that have been helpful. And for the biggest one for ourselves and for most of the clients that we work with, I would say the biggest process is the follow-up loop. And whether that's either the initial client contact of them like coming to your website or that first contact or the initial client onboarding. Because there's a lot of
Mm,
facets, a lot of
mm,
different areas where you
mm,
can find what is like the industry standard for what kind of communication you should be giving to someone at a certain point in their customer journey. You can help with prompting of what, the language should look like, what kind of deals are the most successful. And there's a lot of reasons for this, right? Because small business owners are incredibly busy. So even when you're excited about something new, whether it's a new client or a new strategy, it's so easy for implementation to stall. So having this extra automation that is boosted with the AI insight, it's just the automation can be more than just touch points. It's thoughtful. There's reminders, there's nudges, there's project check-ins. You're able to keep the momentum going without adding pressure to your clients or to your prospects. But it also gives you industry insight, like professional industry insight to use and to utilize so that you can make it your own, make it your voice, but make it make sense. You know what I mean? And have it to be an industry standard that is tried and true. And I think it's about, these reminders. It keeps you relevant and it helps you and can help your clients free up time for deeper
I
strategy.
agree. Yeah, yeah. And
Mhm.
I think, we'll talk about where to start, but I think that the place that we start with AI is with repetitive tasks. So I want to
Mhm.
ask our audience a question. Let me pop this poll. I want to ask you, if you all, okay, did that pop? Are you guys seeing a poll?
Time per day.
Okay,
Hmm.
yeah, because I can't see them as the host. So how much time per day do you think you spend on manual repetitive tasks? So part of what we always try and do is help clients to analyze so that they can decide what their next steps are. So I think when you think about getting into AI, this is where you start. What are you doing day in and day out? Like Kelly said, onboarding clients, follow up, and we're going to do a whole segment on how we're using AI in the biz dev process. But the truth is, I hear it all the time as a business growth consultant. People don't follow up. I say, if you're not going to follow up, then don't go in the first place. What a complete waste of time. So get me on my soapbox.
I totally agree. I mean, as people are answering, it's like sometimes you're working with companies and you're like, I want to give you my money. Why won't you let me? And
Right,
it's because
right.
there's these bottlenecks and some
I
people
know.
just don't know. And you can have this analyzation, to
Excellent.
help you.
Yeah. All right, so let me pop our results and we'll share our results. And the
Mhm.
bulk of you said 2 to 3 hours. Some said 0 to 1. Some said 3 to 5. Some said I have no idea. I love an honest answer. Well, the research that I did using Copilot said that we're on average, the average employee. So how many people do you have in your company? Do some horrible math here. 3 to 4 hours per employee on 3 to 4 hours per day on manual repetitive tasks. And if you, for a mid-sized company with 100 employees, you can do the math to cut that down for yourself. That adds up to 77,000 hours a year at 1.2 billion annually. It's big money, people. And the truth is, if you could shave an hour off your week, that's pure profit, pure profit. So the cost implications are huge. And so I want to encourage all of you to, as we go through this process of this webinar and the next two, we hope you'll be on all of them, but to really think about what are those repetitive tasks that you can start to incorporate. So, Kelly, when we think
Mhm.
about operations, what are the specific tasks? And you mentioned some of them before, but specific to operations, because that was what we're talking about here. What are
Mhm.
some of the tasks you think our audience really should be looking at as far as incorporating AI?
I think you should always have your processes, right? So AI-driven automation isn't just about saving time. It's really about having a clear view of the entire process, which then allows you to create smarter and more adaptive workflows that help, your team stay focused and aligned. So in terms of tools we've used, especially with things like either client onboarding or employee onboarding, or once you get someone into your system and there's the journey, right? The client journey of what they need, we use things like Copilot, Scribe, Zapier, and Asana. And those are the ones I'm going to show you. But you'll see with Scribe, that's for SOPs. This will automatically capture workflows as you're working, which you can then share with other people. And you have basically systems set up. Because, Donna, you work with businesses who are scaling, who may eventually want to sell, and all these processes are documented and they're ready to go. And you have an entire bundled product. And it's not just helping on every client, but it's helping overall with the entire, like the health of your business in the long run. And with Zapier too, that's very much, we've seen with clients, a lot of time they'll have a lot of different systems doing different things. And though we do try to try to bundle as much as we can under a system like a CRM, if you don't have one, we always recommend looking into a CRM system. But Zapier is good because it can be sort of like that connective tissue between all these different programs, and it can automate repetitive tasks and sync them. So if you do have certain emails that go out in the journey, a lot of time all you have to do is like click a button and it should all automate. All the emails should go out. The assignments or the tasks that need to happen will be assigned to the person with the due date. There's a whole like deluge of
Right. Yeah.
tasks that
Yeah.
need to happen. And it really is because that's really, bundling all this stuff, marketing yourself, making sure your business is healthy. That's what this automation really is coming in. And the AI can help with that too. I know Copilot does a great job where if you prompt it, it will sort of look through the system and give you recommendations of where there's bottlenecks or what might be a little more helpful in the long run. So that's really where
Yeah.
I do is you want to start with the processes. You want to make sure everything is branded and ready and raring to go so that
Mm-hmm.
makes your life
And
easier.
you hinted at this earlier, but the truth is, and I've always said this before AI, and this is not just about AI. This is about workflow. This is about automating workflow using AI. The AI is the new part. Everything else was already happening, or you should have been doing it. This is just going to make that easier and more intuitive. Um, and the thing that I want to say, it's layering on top of already good business practices. And I always say, you want to behave like a big organization to become one. If you don't have the systems, you're just going to grow and crumble. But the other thing is, and this is a fact, Jack, if you have all this documented and you want to sell your business someday, it's literally worth more. Because,
Mm-hmm.
A solo business is only worth as much as, the solo. And when the solo goes, there's nothing left. So document your systems. You do it for a number of reasons. Um, Julie, talk to us, and I'm going off script a little bit here, but we talked about this earlier. Where I'm hearing a lot about agentic AI. Talk to us a little bit about the difference between LLM, large language model, and agentic AI, because it's a new phrase and now it seems to be everywhere. So tell our audience what the difference is.
Yeah. And so I should preface this by saying that I am by no means the expert. And so this is something that is a rapidly changing and evolving thing, as most AI is. But I think, the simplest way to explain that is, that the LLMs and the agents and the ChatGPT that exists today, as we know it, is more of like an information gather and a knowledge base, right? It can go out onto the internet. If you say, hey, I wonder what the best time is to travel to Portugal. It can say, well, based on, different factors, this is what we find. Whereas agentic is more action based. So instead of saying, what's the best time to go, say, can you please plan that trip for me? And then have the AI go out and take those action items. So going and researching availability of, hotels in Portugal, making that reservation. So it's knowledge based versus action based.
Awesome. And I think that's where it's really going to get just, I was telling Julie and Kelly that, before I use Copilot a lot, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but I'm planning a trip and I literally went on to Copilot and said, I'm going from here to here. I want to stay for 3 nights. I want to do fun girl things on the way. Um, Print me out an itinerary with directions, hotels, things to do, and give me all the TripAdvisor rankings. And, like literally 3 seconds later, you've got this amazing thing. And what you're saying is agentic will now take that the next step and go book that stuff for you if you wanted to. So again, it's still AI. You still have to check it. That doesn't mean it's correct, right? So we still have to check it. We still have to work with it. But I think there are so many areas within all of our businesses where we can start to incorporate AI so that we can reap some of these economies of scale. And really, it's what we say all the time, working smarter, not harder. So let me pop another poll, and I want to, let me see. What am I doing wrong, Cal? Hold on. I want to find out where you guys think you might be able to incorporate AI into your businesses. So let me see if I can't launch this. Okay, stop sharing. Launch. Okay. So take a look at these areas of your business and tell us, where is it that you think you can start using AI? Which of these areas are you most interested? So it's pretty even. Data-driven decisions. I love, and the thing that is really exciting about this is when you get good at it, and I think this is where the magic will happen, it becomes predictive. And when we get to biz dev, we'll talk about CRM and how it's predicting what to say. It's crafting the follow-up before you get there. All right, so most of you are saying data-driven decisions. Maybe,
Oh.
maybe. I don't know that I would agree with that, but that's okay. Everybody gets to have their own opinion. So there are
Also,
many areas. Go
just
ahead.
to say, Lori piped in and said accounting wasn't an option, but that's where she would start.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. You're right. And accounting, and we're going to have a section on finance, but there are wraparound tools. I think it's called Keeper or something like that, that's wrapping around QuickBooks. So, QuickBooks is already many of these programs, and that's one of the points I want to make. Many of the programs that you're already using already have AI. So if your finances and your accounting is where you want to incorporate AI, the first thing you should do is figure out what your platform, and I don't know what platform you're on, Lisa, look at that platform and see where they're already using AI. For instance, QuickBooks has been using AI for quite some time to match bank feed transactions to the appropriate business expense category. That's all AI. That's all intuitive. You have to fix it. It's not always right. So I would say in whatever area you feel you should start, go to that platform, do a little research. And, I realize we have ChatGPT and Copilot, but don't eliminate YouTube. You could still learn just about anything on YouTube.
And for anybody with small children, you know AI is already all over YouTube because they are
Yes,
they've got these
yes,
automated videos that they've got too. I mean, it's literally everywhere.
yes, exactly. So what we want to do now is we want to take some time to do some demonstrations. I'm gonna talk about Copilot. Kelly's gonna talk about a few things, and then Julie's gonna come back on camera and she is going to um, demonstrate some things. So let me just pull up what I'm looking for. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about Copilot. And I saw a comment that Copilot does not integrate with, I believe it was Sage, and that was a Canadian participant. So I have to apologize. I don't know anything about that, but I know I've been using Copilot now for quite some time. The thing that I like about Copilot compared to ChatGPT is it's more of a closed source. It isn't quite as open source as ChatGPT, well, the free versions anyway. But the other thing that I really love about Copilot is not only, let me share my screen, not only does it, okay, not only does it go out to the web to get me answers for various things, but it also will search within my universe. So in other words, and can you all see my Copilot screen? Somebody give me a something in the chat.
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
see.
Thank you. Okay, good. So what's nice about this is I've been in business for 31 years. I have a lot of content in my SharePoint. And so what's really nice about this is I can search not only the web, but I can search my own library for anything that has anything to do with the particular topic that I'm looking for. So it's very helpful so that I'm not recreating the wheel. I don't want to have to redo something that I've already done. Frankly, we've been talking about the same things for 30 years. So I find that to be super helpful. The other really basic thing that I use Copilot for, but it's really not very basic, is we are on the Teams platform for all our internal meetings, and I use it now for all my prospects. We use Zoom just for our webinars. But as with most of these platforms, or you can get an AI assistant, it will record my consultations, my meetings, and it does a very good job of summarizing, including my favorite thing, a list of action items. And that's really what it's about, right? So if we have to capture the actions and execute on those. That's really kind of very simple. The other thing that I'm doing a fair amount of, and someone talked about this, is I'm doing a fair amount of research with it. So this is a document that I created using Copilot. I was going to be teaching a class in front of 50 people on financial leadership. So what I did was I asked the organizers of the event to give me the list of registrants, which they did. I highlighted the column that, oh, okay, I didn't know about board motions. I think you'd have to say it in the meeting and then it would do it. So I cut and paste the column with their emails. I dropped the list of emails into Copilot, and I said, Copilot, summarize these people by industry. This is the document I got for my 50 companies. It organized all of the companies into the areas. Now, this is really helpful because, frankly, I don't really do business with education and advocacy groups, so that wouldn't be a priority for me to follow up. So this is kind of an example of data analytics that you can get in a super, I wouldn't have think you thought you could get this from a list of email addresses. You can even go further. Then I took a particular segment of this, which is more of my market. And I went into Copilot and I said, look up these companies, give me descriptions on these companies. So it goes out to the web and it comes back and it tells me how many employees they have and what their sales are. And of course, that's all information that's publicly available, but super helpful that I don't have to do it. So I'm using it for quite a bit of prospect research. The other thing, just this morning, I was working on a strategy to rent our offices in Montclair. We've got a couple of offices coming available. So I went into Copilot, and here's the document that I ultimately created. And I asked Copilot to create a marketing plan. And I pointed it to my website so it could see who we are. So from a 2-minute prompt, I got this marketing plan, which, by the way, was affirming because we're kind of doing almost everything, but it was good. Gave me a couple of new ideas. So I asked it for a marketing plan. It gave me this multi-segmented marketing plan. I asked it to include action items. It included action items. And this was its own initiative. It told me what metrics to track. And then I went further and I said, I'd like a list of consultants and agencies within 5 miles of Montclair. Here you go. So I'm using Copilot to do prospect research and marketing research on a daily basis. I cannot believe how much easier this has made my job of prospecting and creating strategy. And I don't know if this ever happens to you, but sometimes when I'm working on strategy, I just kind of hit a creative block. And that's another thing that I find AI is really helpful, is getting me past my own creative blocks just to give me some ideas to keep moving. So that's how I'm using it for prospecting and research. Of course, everyone is using AI for content generation. I mean, literally, you can get 100 social media posts. You can get so much, but you have to be careful. Again, remember, it's AI. Talk to your website people. There are some limitations. Google doesn't particularly like AI. So you always have to edit and make it your own. But along the lines of marketing, I asked Copilot to give me statistics on why working in a professional office is more, if working in a professional office is more productive than working at home. Well, I got this nice little nice little string of information. And basically these sources, communication, collaboration, focus, and distraction, all of this, the sources on this was Harvard Business, Gartner Research, and I forget what the third one was, but they were all very reliable, reputable sources, which I checked. And I said, oh, that's really great. Can you turn that into an infographic for me? So this infographic came out of Copilot in about 3 minutes, and that's it. Kelly, chime in. If we had to do this on our own, how long would that have taken us?
Oh, with all the research and everything, a couple hours.
Right, exactly. So it's just speeding things up. Again, not replacing anyone. I still have to do the marketing. I still have to do the wraparound. I still have to make sure it's accurate, but it's just insanely quick and easy. Now, here's another favorite of mine. I had a client who was having a little bit of a challenge with gossip in the office. I don't know if any of you ever have that happen to you, but I asked my assistant to do a little research. She used Copilot. I said, tell me, what is gossip? Why is gossip bad? What else should we do? She sent me a 1-page Word document. Great. I added to the Word document. I said, add 4 knowledge check questions. Lisa, thank you. So I had a 1-page Word document. What is it? Why is it bad? What should we do different? And knowledge check. And I said to Copilot, turn this into a course. So here it is, 3 seconds later, literally. All right, 3 seconds might be too fast. Maybe 90 seconds. Here is my PowerPoint course that each person in the firm had to take, had to answer the knowledge questions, and the entire team had to take the course, and it took me 5 minutes. Everybody participated, and it really was the beginning of the end of gossip in that office. So I am using Copilot for so many things on a daily basis. And when we get to Q&A, I'll be happy to answer additional questions. Kelly and I are actually thinking of setting up office hours so we can all work on this together, because I know it's hard to implement. But the other thing I want to say to you is, and I'm learning this as I go, this is just kind of a productivity issue for me. I try not to sit in my Outlook because I find my email distracting. Can anybody relate? So what I do is I go in the morning, I check my email, I print my calendar, shut my Outlook off, and follow my calendar on my paper, because that's what works for me. However, I am using Enterprise, Lori. It's through, I can get you more info on that. So with the new version of Outlook, which I don't know about you guys, don't love it, but this is what happens. When you go to print your daily calendar, it runs off the page. It's terrible. So I asked Copilot, would you please create a one-page printable version of my calendar with my categories and my descriptions on a calendar, and print that out for me? Well, I did it about 3 days in a row. And so I get this nice calendar that I can follow very easily. And this morning, Copilot said to me, would you like me to do this for you every morning and email it to you? Heck yeah. So it's teaching me. So I think that what we're going to learn from AI is the more we use it, the more it's going to train us. So, that's kind of a brief overview on some of the things that I am doing on a daily basis in Copilot that are definitely saving me time. And I'm learning that you can save these prompts and you can save these chats and you can go back. So I'm learning as we go, and I'm trying to share that knowledge with you as we go. So again, any questions, just drop them in Q&A. We'll allow time at the end. So Kelly, let me hand it over to you. I'm going to go off camera and take it away and do your thing.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So what we're going to be doing with my demo is showcasing a little bit of the automation and the AI involved with the programs that we have, right? So what I'm going to be showing you is Zapier, which is a very popular and known program, but they've got a really great AI, I guess a beta program that they have started with that's very helpful and powerful, especially if you're not very comfortable with the program. So Zapier is that connective tissue type of software where if you have a lot of different programs you're using, you can utilize this to connect them and have them talk to each other. We're going to show a little snippet of Asana. If you're not familiar with Asana, it's a task and project management software. So you can use it with your team. You can use it with your clients to keep track of projects, of what teams you've got, all these different things. And the third thing I'm going to show you, and this is all going to happen at the same time, is something we call Scribe. So Scribe is a program that will create protocols and standard operating procedures for you. So first with Zapier, first with Scribe, let me first do this. What we're going to do is we're going to keep track of everything that we're doing so that we can then hand it off to someone on the team or hand it off to a client or something like that so they can see the process and follow it without you having to show them every time. So what I did is I did a test Zapier so we could show you how to connect Zoom and Asana. Those are just examples. So the first thing we're going to do is put Scribe on. And just for full disclosure, I did a lot of this setup already for time. And also so you know, the Zapier I'm using is a free version. The Scribe I'm using is a paid version. So what you can do is set up two programs that don't normally talk to each other so that they do. And this is just the example I used. So first I'm going to say I want Zoom for any new registrant to be put into our Asana. And this is how it does it. So I've already done the connecting. So our Zoom is already connected. When you connect it, all of these things will now show up. So the trigger event is a new webinar registrant. But if you take a look at the list here, there's a lot of options that you can use. Anything here. And one of the things I guess I'll say for this automation and this AI integration in general, start with one task first. Don't get overwhelmed, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed because there's a million options and there's so many things you can do. It's such a powerful tool. So first we want to do is just, what's the one trigger event? So we'll say someone signs up for a webinar, right? Everything's connected. You'll see here, Zapier does tests every time you have like a new system or something that you're going to do. So this little check mark means, okay, I'm connected, I'm ready to do this. The next thing you do is go to configure. And what I did here, this is just an example, is I chose from the webinars that we've got coming up. And if you haven't yet registered, we have part 2 and part 3, C3 and Abby Connect, Finances with AI and Smarter Business Development. But basically, I'm just using this test. So we're going to have anybody who signs up for this test webinar is going to be put into our Asana. Okay. So again, this was already set up just for time, but this is where, you'll do the configuration. Here, you could always add steps. And here's just an example of how powerful it is. There are so many tools and softwares, so many different areas where you can really connect what you have. But what here, I just wanted to show you that for an example, but we don't need it. And I'll delete that. But that's just a sneak peek into what you have available and how you connect these. And it's so powerful and it's great. So the next thing we'll show you is that what would happen, right, if someone signs up for this webinar. And this is where we're automating. And this is how we're making your systems easier and making sure things flow. So here you're going to then connect whatever, again, we're just using Asana as an example. It's our project and task management software, but you can use whatever you want. So you create the action. We're going to create a task. This is the account. Again, it's already connected. That's why we have this little check mark. And then you start to configure things. And here you will select the project, and you'll see it here. So this is the project we're using, test project. So right now it's empty. And you'll see there's all these different options to put in there so that you can remind yourself, or you can automate this process. So here I did this myself. So we'll say reach out for introduction, right? And then Zapier will, if you hit this little thing, what do you want in there? So, okay, I want to know who I'm talking to, right? So who am I calling? I'm calling Kelly. Louro, that's me. And there's my phone number. And then here, maybe I want some more information about this person. What is their organization? What is their email? You can add all of that here. And then here, there's other things like due dates. So I put for just the 31st. I already put that one in, yada, yada. It's all, however you want to set it up is how you want to do it. So then you hit continue. And what's great about this is it will test, and this is where the AI comes in, it will test every step of the way. So if there's ever an issue, it will tell you in that moment. So let's test the step. And this is always nerve-wracking because with technology, you never know. But look, little check mark, and there it is. So now this has now been assigned to me for a due date of here, and it says, okay, this is what I have to do. So this will come up to my task list. It is now part of my daily routine. And that's one of those things that I do is I look, who do I need to call today? What do I need to do? What step of the process are these people in? So I'm aware of the client journey from A to B. And these are these little setups that, it takes a little bit in the beginning, but once it's done, it's like, it is such a weight off your shoulders. And here's the extra AI aspect of it is that if you're kind of unsure of what you want to do, you can tell it. You say, I want to connect my Google Forms with my, Asana. And then you can just ask it. Hold on, let me get this out of the way for a minute. And then you ask it, and it will start build it for you. So if you like with Zapier, it is easy to use, but it's also not always easy to use. Sometimes there are roadblocks or, things that you need to fix. But with the AI capabilities here, it really helps you get started if you're unsure. And then, as always, with any AI program, you want to go in there, you want to check it and make sure that everything's properly set up. And here it'll tell you, this will create a test. Do you want me to set this up? And you can have this as an ask, or you can have it go automatically. So for this, I have it as an ask because I wanted to look over and say, okay, what are they going to do? Am I okay with this? And then you can say, build it. So that's how you can get this going, is just by simply asking the question first and going from there. And now the last little piece that we've been going over as this was going is Scribe. So like I said, as I've been doing all this, Scribe has been documenting everything. So if I want to go to my teammate who is going to have to take this over for me, I now complete the capture. And it has kept track of every click and everything that I've done so far. So set up Google Forms to Asana workflow, or it went from Google Forms here. So there's sometimes things that you have to edit, but it will go through every step. It tells you how long it will take. It tells you how many steps. It tells you which softwares. And then if you want to do a little extra, because we love to be extra, you can go to Copilot and say, can you recommend efficiencies or something like that for this SOP? And if you just copy it, it'll look it over and it will give you feedback in real time of what they think or what would be recommendations on making this better, standardize the form fields, preset the templates. There's a lot of things you can ask for. You could ask for feedback. So this is a way to sort of integrate all of these programs together so that they're all talking to each other and utilizing the AI in it. So it makes it easier for yourself. It makes it easier for your team. And it just makes it easier overall for your organization to thrive and to not have to be, monopolizing your time all the time. So those are some nifty little tricks we've got that we use in the background.
Well done. Well done. Are you all thoroughly confused? Are you all ready to hire Kelly? Because I'm so glad I have her. But all these things.
These are hugely powerful tools. So I tried to keep it simple, but it's, it's the name of the game.
And, one of the things I like to say about Zapier, Zapier has been around for a while. Again, nothing here. We're enhancing the things that have been around for a while. And one of the things is that what I've seen over the last 10 years or so is Zoho, which is primarily a CRM, wants to be a scheduler and an accounting. And I think some of these softwares are trying to be too much to too many. So what I like about Zapier is you can connect the programs that you find most efficient for what you're doing. And, people will say to me, well, what's the best CRM system? Honestly, it's the one you're going to use the most. They're all going to accomplish pretty much the same thing. So I think Zapier allows you to stick with your programs that you're comfortable with, that your team is comfortable with, eliminating additional learning.
And that has history. You have historical data.
Yeah. So I think, Zapier is awesome. And, I just want to repeat, Kelly's working off of a free version of Zapier. These things are not expensive. And, Scribe, we do have a paid. And,
there is a free though.
Yeah, and you'll pay for it when it makes sense, but much of these things can be free. And so I talked about Copilot and how it's helping me research, and Kelly talked about, Asana and Zapier. So that's kind of back office. Now we're going to hand it to Julie, who is going to give us a demo of you're automating the front end of our business, which is amazing. So let me hand it to you and tell our audience about the fabulous things that you guys are doing at Abby Connect.
Wonderful. Thank you, Donna. Yeah. So, and I should preface that, and I'll get into this, all the great automation tools and things that Kelly just explained about Zapier are things that we can also work with. So to give you a little bit of background for us, we're a family-owned business. It's been around for about 20 years, obviously before the time of AI. So we started off with our human receptionist teams that were really catering just to call answering for business owners and small businesses. And then what we did is take that 20 years of experience to spend 2 years building our own proprietary AI. So lots of products in the market right now. I know it's big decisions, like just from CRMs to finding the right call handling outsourced services. So can go over a little bit of the differences that we provide in that, chiefly being that our AI support is built off of our 20 years experience. So when you'll see in the demo, it's not going to be like how we talked about earlier with an LLM, maybe like a voiceover. It really is built specifically for call answering for businesses. So you'll see it has a very conversational type tone. It's able to draw intuitively on information about your business that you build out to have that human-like interaction and better caller experience that we're going to have on the front end when interacting with your callers. So what does that look like? It can be very flexible is the short answer. So we're really built in every facet of our coverage to help streamline, automate, and really give the callers that kind of in-house experience that they're used to with your business. It's very adaptable. So essentially, we can be a part and integrate into any aspect of your existing business and then change as your business changes and grows. And I'll go over here what that looks like, what that can look like, both in implementation and efficiency. So let me go ahead. I'll share my screen here. So this is just a snapshot of the dashboard that you would see when you have any of our support. So the great thing about being able to speak to automation, streamlining, and that most important part of data collection for data-driven decisions is all stuff that will be at your fingertips here. The nice thing is that it also has, we've developed a mobile app too. So just going back to having you be able to do more with less, right? The efficiency, being able to still have all of those calls at your fingertips while you're out talking to clients, and really save you that time while we are doing the most important thing, which is making sure that you're never missing a call, that all of those calls, whether they're potential clients, your existing clients, are always captured so that you and your staff can focus on your most important tasks and increase your efficiency. So you'll see here, this is just a lot of data, but it really breaks down pretty easily. We have a lot of good analytics and call information that is built in. And that way you can use that for other aspects of your business to make data-driven decisions. Really cool things like call tags and being able to keep track of all of your calls so that you don't have to spend time doing that manually, maybe parsing through messages, looking through call transcripts. All of that is right here at your fingertips and easy to pull up. You'll also see all of the call logs here. So again, lots of data. So for all of the calls, whether it's the human receptionist or the AI, you'll be able to get a lot of information here that is pulled right into the call. That data is captured. And then if we're talking about Zapier or any other integration, again, saving you time, just making sure that once the calls are in and that data is captured, it can also be seamlessly pushed either through Zapier or some of our native integrations, so that, again, saving you time and making sure that that information is getting where it needs to be. So you'll see here with the AI receptionist calls, for example, all the calls are going to be logged here regardless of how they're handled. You'll get a lot of data here that's put in automatically. So you'll see everything from call summaries, great AI sentimentality ratings, call recordings, call transcripts, everything is right here, in addition to however you like to receive the information. So again, saving you time in the aspect of not having to sift through emails maybe or texts with that call information. It's all here and you can take action items on it. A lot of cool things so that, again, you can capture as much data as possible, but it all will be here. Another great thing that I love about this is that, and again, from all of our experience, we've used to specifically build this out based on the feedback we've gotten from business owners like you. So searchable database here. I really love this aspect of it when we talk about referencing a call, whether it's yourself as a solo owner or you have a staff. You can pull up calls, specific calls right here, save you time, reference that really easily. You can also communicate if you have more than one staff member directly within this. You can leave notes for yourself. So again, saving you time and being able to be more efficient with the time that you have. So let me go right here. If you wanted to pull up an actual call, then you could type that right in. Now, you'll see here our services, whether it is the AI or the human receptionist services, can be built out very customizable and specifically. So you see here, this is just going to be an example of how we would create a custom call handling experience for all of your types of callers. And again, it can be as simple as just taking messages. You can get extremely granular in the information that you want to intake. So again, we have clients that we just take messages, make sure the calls are covered so that they're able to be front facing with their clients and don't have to worry about calls being missed. We can also automate this to have pretty extensive intake. So if you want us to call, qualify, maybe parse out clients that you would want to move on to the next step, automating that scheduling and getting that information into your CRM so that you can take action items there, we can fit into that workflow. So you'll see here, very easy to program out, very easy to change. So again, no need to build everything out and start over again. You can always change this. The nice thing with the AI is that it instantly updates. So while our human receptionists are absolutely a part that we will never change, that I like to say it's kind of an apples and oranges thing. We love our human receptionists, and they have a really great part in this caller experience. We also have our AI. The AI is very instantly updated. So again, saving you time, no need to train, retrain. Even though we have great support that I'll show you is also at your fingertips, you can get those instant updates if it's a change as simple as updating your office hours, for example, or changing your call handling. So all about efficiency and saving you time there. So I'll show you here also how comprehensive and easy this can be. You'll see right here, all of our contacts can be listed. You can even drill down if you have maybe a staff member that you're doing transfers to. You need to update maybe their information. Very quick and easy to do here, and your company information. The thing that I love about our AI is that it's a little different. It's not going to be like a very scripted IVR type of, maybe you think when you call into CVS and you just get those voice prompts. It's going to be able to pull information from your account and reference that and have that very human-like conversation, which I think is cool. And again, everything being able to instantly update and save you time there. FAQs can be built out pretty extensively. So again, just taking some of that extra work off your plate. If you see that you might have a lot of repetitive calls, let's say people calling in asking the same questions, things maybe they just need help being directed to your website. Those kinds of calls that you might take or your staff might take, that even though it only takes, a minute or two, that's a minute or two that you could be better spent with your clients and not being pulled away and distracted. So pretty extensive how you can build this out, and the AI is able to have that very conversational experience with your caller to take those calls completely off your plate. And then again, just going back to efficiency, we built a whole bunch of data and analytics into this, just getting feedback from our clients about what's most important to them. No need to go searching through, your invoices, through parsing through different data files. All of this can be sent to you, and that way helping you make better decisions and saving you time. And then just touching on this, we do integrate with Zapier, which Kelly spoke to earlier. Just again, really making us part of your workflow. So we adapt whether it's just going to be taking the message and being client facing, and making sure calls aren't missed. If you want us to then save you time and efficiency by working into your tech stack, that is something that's possible. And we're always expanding with our abilities to do native integrations as well. So what I would like to do is just play for you real quick, just an example, so you can see what that sounds like.
And Julie, this is an example of your AI, correct?
This is, yes, good question,
All right.
Donna. This is an example of
I
our
just want
AI.
you, because they may not believe that, so I want them to hear that.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because since we did build this, which is a nice thing that I think is, touches on an important question with so many products on the market to choose from, being able to control the roadmap is really important to us. And I think something that really sets us apart. We really prioritize all of our rollouts and our improvements from feedback we get from clients like you guys. And one of the things that we did here was that, in the age of maybe having some hesitancy or AI being a new thing, how are our clients and our callers going to react to AI? We wanted to be really transparent. So we specifically designed this so that it does sound very human and interactive, but at the same time, being very transparent that it is an AI. So let me go ahead. I will play one of these for you, and then you can see exactly what this looks like.
This call is recorded. Yankachev Tax Pros, how may I assist you? Yes, I'm calling. I'm an existing client and I need help. May I have your full name, please? Yes, it's Susie Smith. Thank you, Susie. I have your first name as S-U-S-I-E and your last name as S-M-I-T-H. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Is the number 725-235-7109 a good one to reach you if needed? Yes. Perfect. Now, could you please provide your email address? Yes, it's julie@gmail.com. Could you please confirm the domain for me? Yes, that's Gmail. Thank you. I have your email as julie@gmail.com. Is that correct? Yes. Who would you like to speak with? We have Erin and Jessica available. I'd like to talk with Jessica. Sorry, this will just take a moment. One moment, please. Thank you for the information. Let me proceed with that. Erin is the best to assist, but is not available at the moment. I will pass along your message about needing help as an existing...
So this can go on pretty long. So I just wanted to give you guys a snapshot and idea of what that sounds like. And then all of that information can either be pushed into your CRM. It will always be here. You can have it sent to your team. And then, that cycle continues for you guys. And you can go on serving your clients.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. It really is pretty amazing. I just find it amazing. Just crazy. Okay, so we've got a couple minutes left. I'm sure Julie and Kelly, we're happy to go over a little bit, but we're always mindful of your time. So any questions, drop them in the Q&A. Julie, this one's for you. Richard Alpert would like to know, how does Abby integrate with telephone, messaging, and email systems?
Oh, great question. Yep. So the shorter answer is we're flexible as with everything. The long answer is it would really depend on what you're looking for. If you want us to be the first, the ambassador to your clients and take all of the calls, we'll procure a number for you internally. If you want to use that number and post it for marketing purposes or port your number over to us, you can do that. If you have an existing phone system like a VoIP or essentially any phone system that allows call forwarding, we can work with that as well. You would just set that up to forward to the number that we procure for you. Regarding, and I guess I'm not sure exactly the second part of it, but we can make sure that the text messages or the emails, however you want the transcript sent, can be parsed out to yourself or anyone on the team, in addition to all the ways that I showed we can get the information to you.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, Zapier can play a role in this as well. And I just think it's fabulous that the data you're collecting can be put right into CRM, because when we get to the biz dev segment of this AI, I have been blown away with what AI is doing within CRM as far as being predictive, and it's the more you can do within your CRM, the more more content you're giving it to pull from. So, Kelly and I, we're even, we're trying to be better about sending our emails through a CRM and, taking copious notes or putting the Copilot notes into the notes section of, we happen to use Zoho. So I think that's really important. So, okay, we have 2 minutes and I want to be mindful of time. What I always say is knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So Kelly, Julie, whoever wants to go first, what is one thing you recommend our audience does to step into this way of working? It's a new way of working, and I think we have to embrace it as a pretty big paradigm shift.
I can go. I would say the best thing to do is to evaluate your tasks and what the really important pieces are. And then there's these variables, and there's 5, right? And I'll be quick with them. There's 5 variables that you want to consider when you want to start automating and using this artificial intelligence to run some of the systems. And that's A, repetitiveness, things that are performed frequently and follow a pattern. High volume, because those are things that occur, large volumes, and they consume a lot of your time. So those are great ones to try to automate or get AI involved in. time sensitivity, that's a huge one. Everybody knows that you want people to be responded to immediately. People want to be responded to immediately. The fourth would be rule-based or having standardized inputs so that the data is, managed. But, as you build out the AI, you're able to work with that more. But in the beginning, this is really important because you don't want to get lost in the weeds. And then finally, what is the impact on your efficiency or your accuracy? And that's a big one, is this will help you with errors. This will help you overall with your time. So keep those in mind when you're thinking about how and where you want to institute these changes.
Very good, Kelly. Julie, what would you say?
I would say to start slow. I think that a lot of people tend to kind of want to do all or nothing. They're like, oh, AI is this great thing that I have to jump on and I have to do it or else, I'm going to be left behind or, I don't even know where to start. And that's why we've made our service and support very malleable. You can use a little bit, you can build on it. And I think that that's a good thing for business owners to do, right? So don't feel like you're overwhelmed. To Kelly's point, pick the most important things and start with those and then build on that so that you don't feel like you're overwhelmed or it's going to be an all or nothing type thing. And that's how we've really built it so that you can incrementally work on the best ways to automate and not have to do it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Really great points. I would overlap on all of that and say, add this to the culture of your company. So for me, as the chief visionary officer, I'm always trying to look around corners, and really as the leaders in our companies, that's a big part of our job, is we are supposed to be looking around corners. So for me, that means budgeting time to literally think about it and research it and play with it. So AI budget time, and B, the other thing that I think is really important is get your entire team involved. And you'll find that people will have lanes, and one person will like doing this and another person will be good at this. So I would say create a culture of incorporating AI into everything you're doing. I mean, Kelly, your 5 points of what to use AI on are dead on. Julie, I agree. Start with one thing, but get everyone involved. You don't have to do this on your own. And we're here to help. So we've got 2 more events coming up in this series. I dropped the link to the next one earlier in the chat. Having attended this one, you'll certainly get an invitation to the next one. So Julie, thank you. Kelly, thank you. Everyone who's here today, we know it's a big topic. We hope that you learned a little bit today, and more than that, I hope that you apply what you're learning, because that's where the magic happens. So thank you, everyone, and we will see you next month.
And I wanted to say, Donna, for anyone that needs help or wants to get in contact, you can reach me, Julie at abby.com, ABBY. Happy to give you a personal demo and talk to you about how we can help.
Yep. And we will make sure all of our contact info is included in the follow-up. So thank you much. Until next webinar, be well, everyone, and have fun playing, because that's what this is. It's playing. Take care, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.